I like to teach people how to leverage the credit and the business credit to be able to leverage that to start businesses and investments, and be able to create streams of income from credit as well. There's different lanes we can get into to be able to make money off of it as well.
Gotcha. So you make money how?
I make money. So the first thing we do is start a funding company.
So I make money. Shit, how do I make money? This is where it starts to get a little weird. Now, I've watched this gentleman's IG reels before. He has some very interesting ways of getting people approved for credit. Very interesting ways about how to get approved for credit, and also what you should do after you've been approved for credit. But just pay attention to the body language. Pay attention to the words that are being used. Pay attention to the descriptions of how he actually makes his money.
We can be able to get other people funded.
So you have a funding company?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
So
funding company.
Leverage LLCs and our personal credit, or just LLC to be able to get funded and then have a charging fee.
That might be the first time I ever heard
And
somebody
then have a charging
say
fee.
that they can teach someone how to start a funding company. But where is this funding company? Here's what I understand. Like, where's all this money coming from that companies are so eager to give it to people who may or may not pay them back?
I think they first idea is to make money off of it. Whether somebody got to start paying interest, even though we go to route 0% interest for the time frame that we do have it, and try to leverage it without paying interest. But eventually you're gonna have to start paying some interest, which they make money off you. But it comes from the bank, man. I'd rather use somebody else's money instead of mine.
Of course.
It comes from the bank, man. I'd rather use somebody else's money instead of mine. Now, as we've been paying attention, a lot of these regional banks and even some of the bigger banks, these banks are failing left and right. Our inflation is going crazy, although thank God it's starting to retract just a little bit here. But what you'll notice throughout this pattern of these gentlemen selling these products, selling these courses, the information that they're putting in here, what you will notice is the ability to just willy-nilly say that basically the money's coming out of thin air. What do you think happens when an unlimited amount of money is created and no more products are being created to buy with the money? Supply and demand dictates. If there's too much cash in the economy and not enough people buying real goods and services, inflation will ensue. This is the problem that these gentlemen don't seem to care about. I'm gonna teach you how to get $100,000 in business funding, but they're not talking to you about the interest rates that come along with that $100,000 in business funding. They're not talking about the fact that you have to have damn near perfect credit in order to be able to procure low interest rate business funding. They're not talking about the fact that utilizing credit cards to fund a business is a terrible idea because credit cards should not be used as working capital. They're not talking about any of these things. What they want you to do is they want you to buy their $5,000 course. And then after that, all bets are off. If you ever notice, and I've worked with some of these people in the past, I know what their chargeback rates look like. You know what a chargeback is? When you buy a product and you're unsatisfied with it and you call your bank and tell them that it was a fraudulent product. These gentlemen, like the of the world, all of these other dudes and stuff like that have allegedly insanely high chargeback rates. Do you know why? It's because once you find out that you've been peddled a bucket of bullshit, you want your money back. Let's keep it going.
And the thing is, and this is, again, it must be a good industry, but there are companies that say, I want to give you this money. And there's companies trying to work with people who have maybe less than perfect credit. Mm-hmm. But I still don't understand why that is such a big business, because the chances are, it's almost like the bet is that I'm not going to get this money back. You know what I mean? So the fact that like y'all are teaching people how to get funding, I feel like people need to hurry up before they realize, this is a failing business. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying?
By the way, this is already starting to happen. Commercial banks, credit issuers are starting to realize that loaning money out at a certain rate is a losing game. You have creditors like Sam's Club, who work with Synchrony Bank, who have now canceled their Synchrony Bank cards with Sam's Club. They're no longer letting you get these non-PG, which means non-personal guarantee, which means you can, in fact, actually just use your EIN number and your business information to garner credit with that institution. They're not doing it anymore. Floor & Decor has canceled their contracts with their commercial credit lender because of the same issue. So because of the way we've been operating with business credit for the last 3 years, a lot of these institutions are starting to strongly pull back, strongly lower the credit limits. They're starting to move away from giving this money out with this type of qualifications. This is the reason why.
I do understand what you're saying. You think they're gonna stop though? I wouldn't think. I don't.
Grace and Mercy just commented that we just want the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And while I would like to believe that, Grace and Mercy, that's not what you want, because the numbers show that you guys buy the lie. You buy the sensationalism. You buy the hacks. You want to run the play. You want to be the finesser of the industry. I want to believe you, but the numbers indicate otherwise. Because when you have people out here giving legitimate information, they don't get the followers, they don't get the views. But when you got somebody out here teaching you how to finesse the banks and run the play, those are the guys who go viral. So I want to believe you, but the numbers say that you're not right. Prove me wrong.
I don't see that
I think
happening.
America's based off of lending. The lending money.
Doesn't it crash at some point?
But in a way, they're printing money, so we just consumers. That's why they love credit card debt, because we just keep buying back into the economy, which is just the cycle. The same way while they gave everybody stimulus and all that money just so they can start buying. So in Philadelphia, what's out here too, but Saks, but it's a Saks on City Line Avenue. It's like a main strip in Philly. Saks never has a line. When that pandemic time happened, everybody was giving all that money. They built an awning around the store because the line was going around the store. Around that.
Say this dude is lying. Say that when people got their money from the pandemic, that $1,200, whatever them stimmy was that going out. I didn't get no stimmy. But when they were going out, y'all wasn't paying down y'all bills. Y'all wasn't paying y'all loans off. Y'all was going, not even to Saks. Y'all was going straight to Louis. Straight to, who else is it? Who else is some of the big dogs on the block? Y'all was going straight to them ultra high-end stores, buying all the bags, buying all the shoes, buying all the bundles, just buying up stuff. And the reason why the economy, if you guys are not paying attention, we have a very, very, very rich class of people. And then we have a very, very poor class of people. The middle class is being completely supplanted. It's going away. Because when these people get money, they don't spend it in a way to become here, to try to hopefully get here. They actually spend it to stay here, which gives the money to those who are already here. It's skipping the middle class. We are our own worst enemy. So this gentleman in this particular point is 100% correct, but he also did not answer the question, which is what happens when the money doesn't get paid back? If we keep printing the money, doesn't it just crash? The answer is yes. If we keep printing money, the money ultimately is not worth anything. So while we over here talking about we want our reparations, we want $1.2 million per black person in America or in California, at least if California is still trying to do that. What happens when you get the 1.2 million and everybody got $1 million now, which means $1 million ain't worth nothing? If you guys don't look at money this way, if you guys don't always bring it back to the money, you will be one of the people who are left here. You will never get here.
At times, so they're giving out money so people can spend.
Yeah.
So it's just all kind of cycling through the economy, basically.
Yeah, but
it's
the
all
economy
coming
has to
back.
pay for that.
Yeah,
Point, though.
that part is a little above my
So
pay grade.
you got to think. You also got to think like the banks, like he said earlier, they make money by lending out money because that's why they want to acquire us as the customer, because we put our money in the bank and then they lend it out, and that's how they make money in between. So let's use Chase for example, right? Their strategy is they're going to lend out high limit credit cards so that they could hopefully get you to become a customer and open up a business account with them or a checking account with them. So now they get your business on that way and hooking you in on a credit card, right? And when they do give you a credit card, you notice when you go swipe your card and you pay that little merchant fee, the bank get paid. So every time you go and you spend that credit card, they're getting paid as well. So they want you to have this debt. Obviously, it could go left where banks will start pulling back as they don't get paid because they got to keep their balance sheet strong. But like that's the whole method. Like put the money out, we make money by giving the money out, and we take it from y'all. Right. So,
but actually, David, now that I think about it, they are lowering people limits and stuff and scarcity times in the world. They like
especially on loans.
So, they're lowering our limits too. So they is a little pullback a little bit. Sure. It's like my Amex limits was going down a little bit, even though I spent a lot of money.
They lower, they did that to everybody. I don't say everybody, but
I would say because my limits was high. You know what I mean? That ain't low. I'm like, wait, I can't even. Why is it doing that? And they literally said they're lowering the lender.
Gotcha.
That's like, that's crazy.
It's based upon
they changing it. Yeah.
It's based upon you as the person, right? So if you're not spending the amount of money that they lend you, they're gonna take it back. But if you are maxing it out and spending it, paying it back, they're gonna increase it. Gotcha. So it's still based upon like the activity of the person.
So this particular set of information is actually true. Any student I have, any customer that I have, they always want to know. Everybody wants to know the same thing. How can I increase my credit limits? But they're scared to spend on their credit card. You have to break the habit of using cash, using your debit card. If you want to get higher limits on your credit card, you have to prove to the lending institution that you need more money. They don't just give out money to people just to be giving out money. There has to be a purpose. So for a person like me who blows up their credit card seemingly every single month, they're always going to look at my transactional history and say, all right, he's at 30,000, but he's spending about 23. He's paying it all off real easy. Let's go ahead and try to hook him with another 20,000. Then I'll up my limit to 50,000. See if I'll up my spending. Eventually, what the hope is that I'll get trapped and ultimately have to pay a monthly interest rate charge because I can't pay it all off. It's just a game. So he's 100% correct. If you do want to get higher credit limits, you must begin to use your credit cards in a way that inspires the institution to give you more money.